Today is iPhone Day with the release of the iPhone 13 mini, 13, 13 Pro, and 13 Pro Max. But the Apple elves did have something else for us. Hey, I'm Jared, and this is the 6th generation iPad mini. Yeah, the iPad mini. This iPad has not been updated for the last 2.5 years. In 2019, the iPad mini came with the same design that it had for a long time and with an A12 Bionic processor. This year, there's a number of upgrades. So for this iPad mini, I went with the 64GB Wi-Fi only version. So let's tear this guy open, see what we got. All right. Real quick before I open it, I do have an iPad Air 4 right here as well to compare against the brand new 6th generation mini. The iPad Air 4 came out last year with an Apple A14 processor, and you can see that there's quite a size difference. But the reason I brought this out is because they're actually very similar. This iPad mini takes a lot of design cues from the new iPad Air 4. So now let's go ahead and open it. It's always a little nerve-wracking opening these boxes. You never know if the thing's accidentally gonna fall out. So, oh my God, this thing is tiny. And I don't have big hands at all, but I can hold that with, 3 fingers. I can't get, maybe 4 fingers. Anyway, let's see what else is in here. We have documentation, of course, and a couple of Apple stickers. We actually have a power plug, a USB-C charging adapter that no longer comes with phones anymore for some reason, and a USB-C to USB-C cable, because one of the advantages of the new iPad mini is that it actually comes with a USB-C port and it no longer has lightning. All right, so this is actually the Starlight version of the iPad mini. And so it's not quite silver and it's not quite gold. It's just kind of, I don't know, a super light beige. Oh my God, I have to say, after using the iPad Pro 12.9 for the last 3 years and the 11-inch and the 11-inch Air, I mean, this thing just feels insanely small. My first impression is that, it feels like an iPad. It feels like an Apple device. It feels substantial, but not heavy. It feels extremely well built. It just feels like you would expect. On the top, we have some speakers and the power button, which also has the Touch ID sensor built into it, just like with the iPad Air 4. And we have the volume up and down buttons right here, which normally on an iPad, the volume buttons are on the right side. However, because this thing is so short and because it now has Apple Pencil support, Apple Pencil 2 support, they actually had to move the power buttons from the right side to the top. So that'll take a little bit of getting used to for somebody who's been using an iPad for a long time. On the bottom, we have additional speakers as well. All right, let's go ahead and get this guy turned on and we'll see what it can do. This is crazy. Like, it's such a novelty. It's almost like the iPhone 12 or 13 mini, where it just feels so good in the hand. You just don't expect it. Like, I didn't expect to feel this good with the iPad mini in my hand. I haven't held an iPad mini since the first one that had Retina display, which I think was the 2nd generation. I tried using that for about a year with an external keyboard and in different ways, and I just never really knew what to do with it. But this thing looks fantastic. The screen on this thing is now 8.3 inches diagonal, so it's about 3 or 4/10 of an inch bigger than the previous iPad minis, but in a body that's essentially the exact same size. What's great about the screen on this iPad mini is that it's very similar to the iPad Air 4. So it's a fully laminated display, which means it looks like you're touching pixels. There's no air gap in between anywhere to make it feel like there's a disconnect between your finger and what's on the screen. It also gets up to 500 nits of brightness, which is super bright for anything that you would need to do on this thing. And it has True Tone and P3 wide color. Now, like I said before, this does have Touch ID built into the top power button, just like the iPad Air 4. But I still prefer Face ID on iPads and iPhones over Touch ID. But the Touch ID works exactly as you would expect. You train it the exact same way, and then unlocking your iPad is as you would expect from an iPhone or another iPad with Touch ID. It just works. It's nice and fast and secure. And when you're all set up, all you need to do is press your finger down on that button for just a moment, and the iPad will unlock. So inside this little iPad is, well, an iPad. And it's gonna be a little powerhouse of an iPad as well. Inside here, you have a brand new A15 Bionic chip, which is the same processor inside the brand new iPhone 13 and 13 Pro. And I haven't done any benchmarking yet on this iPad or the iPhone 13, but if history is any indication, the Apple processors are going to be fast. So that means anything from playing games to watching movies to editing videos on this iPad mini is going to be super fast and flawless. And actually, I can't wait to try LumaFusion on here. I think it's going to be a lot of fun editing a video on a device this small, this powerful. As far as the camera goes, there's a 12 megapixel camera, f1.8 on the front, which I don't think is going to be anything to write home about. On the front side though, we have a brand new ultra wide camera, which uses Apple's center stage feature, which basically helps keep you centered in the frame. And as new objects or new people come into the frame, it will kind of center everything in there just to make room. So if I turn the iPad away from me, center stage will just kind of refocus me in the center of the screen. I'll turn it that way and it'll do it again. Of course, Apple provides a little bit better demo than I can provide sitting here at my desk. And since this is an iPad, you get all of the benefits of an iPad, including iPadOS 15. So if you see at the top here, you have those 3 dots or ellipses, tap on those and that's your multitasking menu. So you can actually tell Safari, I want to go to the far left and then I want to open up, say, Notes. And now you have split screen view on the iPad mini, just like you do on the full-size iPads, which works really well with iPadOS 15. So it's a little small, but you can do it. You can take notes on one side while researching on the other side. So one of the biggest surprises for me about the iPad mini 6 is that they added Apple Pencil Gen 2 support. So just like the Pro and the Air 4, you can attach the pencil magnetically to the side where it will charge and pair. And of course, that's why the volume buttons were moved over to this side. And this might just be the perfect note-taking tablet size. It's just like one of those little small flip open notebooks. And of course, you can just write with the Apple Pencil and then save the notes. And you can do quick notes too. So just swiping up from the side, you get the quick notes and you can do that from any screen, which is super convenient. I mentioned earlier that on the bottom, there's actually a USB-C port, and that is a big upgrade. That means you now have the ability to connect other things that you haven't been able to before, including USB adapters for SD card readers or external SSDs. You can even connect this to a hub and connect it to an external display. And one of the things I'm going to be testing this weekend is connecting it to a CalDigit Soho hub and connecting it to a display to see how the iPad mini works in a desktop setup. So if you're interested in that, definitely hit subscribe below. All right, so this iPad mini seems pretty great at first glance. It seems like it's going to be a powerhouse with that new A15. It's got Apple Pencil support so you can use it to take notes. It's got USB-C for connecting other things to it and even maybe a display. And I did go ahead and pick up one of the new Smart Folio cases for the new iPad mini. And this is the electric orange, which I think is gonna look amazing with the Starlight iPad. All right, so let's open this guy up and oh my gosh, that thing is super bright. That is definitely electric orange. The box does not do it justice at all. And the iPad mini should just slot right in here, like with the iPad Air 4 and iPad Pro on their Smart Folios. And look at that. It is so compact. This thing just feels amazing. I can't wait to sit down on the couch with it tonight and just surf the web or mess around on YouTube and see what this guy feels like. And you know what? Having this case might make this like the perfect movie watching device on an airplane, right? You don't need to worry about people leaning their seat backs and messing up your larger iPad or a laptop. This thing will fit just about anywhere. And you know what? Let's test the speakers. All right, so we'll just pick some music from Google's studio library, like this somewhat rock happy song. And the volume is all the way up. Yeah, so I mean, first test, the speakers sound pretty good, which you expect from an Apple device, no matter how big or small. So I'll definitely play around with that some more and see how it sounds watching a movie or listening to my actual music. But I guess that's about it for this iPad mini 6 in Starlight with that electric orange case, which just looks insane. Oh, let me just show you one more time. Here's the iPad Air 4, and there's the size difference. And so you can see this iPad Air 4 has the, I think, hibiscus case. It's green with hibiscus. And there's the size difference. So pretty substantial. And if this is something that you're going to be holding a lot to read or something like that, then the iPad mini might just be perfect for reading, right? A Kindle replacement. So reading, watching movies on a plane, or just surfing the web from the couch at night, this might be the better tablet for that. But what do you guys think? Do you have any questions about the iPad mini 6? If so, let me know in the comments below. I'll try and answer some of those in my review if I can. Or you can let me know on Twitter, where I'll probably post some updates along the next couple of days or weeks as I mess around with this thing. So, thumbs and subs, and I'll see you next time.